All right. So today we're going to look at equivalence fractions. So equivalence fractions or fraction equivalence or equivalent fractions all really mean if I have two fractions, they should equal each other. When I say they should equal each other, well, that's pretty simple. That comes from the name, right? A lot of things in math do. Whenever you see a word in mathematics, usually it's quite simple to understand what's needed from just a word. But let's show some examples here, okay? So equivalence fractions. So let's say I had, for example, 1/2, and I wanted to know, well, let's say the denominator was 6, what number would go up here? How do I do that? Well, this is quite simple, actually. So in order for this guy to become a 6, what would you have to multiply by? As we saw multiplying fractions, you can multiply directly across and get your answer. So let's see what fraction we can multiply this guy by in order to get a 6 down here at the bottom. Okay, well that's quite simple. 2 times 3 will give me 6. And if I want to keep this equal all throughout, what I do at the denominator, I must also do with the numerator. So really we're taking the fractions 3 over 3 and multiplying it times 1 over 2. Well, isn't 3 over 3 the same thing as 1? Because 3 divided by 3 is 1? It is. And 1 times any number just leaves the number the same, right? Yeah. So, but those aren't going to be the same. Yes, they are. That's why they're called equivalent fractions. Because we're taking this fraction, multiplying by 1, although 1 looks a little different than it normally does, still 1, still a value of 1. This is equivalent to 1. And when we multiply that, now our fraction looks different. However, it still has the same value. All right. Well, let's see what we get here. In this case, we end up with 3 over 6. Because 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 2 is 6. Well, the 6's are the same. That means the numerators have to be the same as well. So this means that if we want to change 1/2 to have a denominator as 6, we would just change the numerator to be 3. That's it. That's how you do an equivalent fraction. Let's take a look at one more example. I decided to change it up, make it a little bit more difficult. All right, so we have 2 knives equals 14 over some other number. Well, last time we looked at it, we were looking for the numerator. Why are we looking for the denominator this time? Because it doesn't matter which one you're looking for. The principle has to be the same for equivalent fractions. So, all right, let's take a look at this. So we want to know what number times 2 gives us 14. Oh, good job. That's right. We can multiply that by 7. And what we do up here, we'll also need to do down here to keep it equivalent. So we're multiplying 7 over 7 times 2 knives. And remember again, 7 over 7 is the same as 7 divided by 7, which is 1. So we're just multiplying times 1, which means our value is not changing. So 7 times 2 gives us 14. 7 times 9 gives us 63. So this would mean that the question mark would have to be 63. So 2 knives is the same as 14 63rds. All right, that's cool. And that's how you find an equivalent fraction or find a missing piece of a equivalent fraction if you need to find a numerator or a denominator for it. See you again soon.